It squads, na 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 na. It squads, na 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 na. It squads, do 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 do. It squads, do 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 do. It squads, do 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 do.
Hello YouTube, my name is Paul. Hope you're all keeping well. Welcome back to another pickup video, number 8 in the Hit Squad quest. I reckon it'll be a series of about 11 videos. Well, it should definitely be 11 videos, depends when I get the last few games. But yeah, Christ. The old Hit Squad at the moment is going absolutely bananas in terms of prices. Yeah, some people have left the scene. I can completely understand why, to focus on different aspects of their collections. I think some people probably find it a bit frustrating that these games aren't as easy to obtain as first thought, which if you're a full set collector of most things, that's the case anyway. But I think, yeah, including myself, it would be quite a reasonably easy task. But after hearing Zombie Bob, Andre talking about his own mission in the full set collection for the Sinclair Spectrum, it's not easy at all. It took him a long time to get to where he got to in the end, which was a full set. But yeah, I don't blame these guys for giving up on the old chase, because it is bloody hard work, and especially as the prices are going through the roof at the minute. I think you probably, well, personally not for myself, but other people probably want to spend their money, hard-earned cash, on something else. I, on the other hand, want to finish this and get to the very end. So I'm up to 110 titles now, so I've gained a few. I think I've gained about 7 this year, I want to say. I think it's 7, maybe 6. No, 7. Yeah, 7 games, but 6 of those have come in the second half of this year. Mostly from eBay. I think actually all of them are from eBay. No, they're not. Tell a lie. 3 of them are from eBay, 3 of them were from one of these said collectors. But yeah, I've managed to complete my C16 collection of 2 games. I've managed to complete my Atari 800 collection of 3 games. So that was quite satisfying. Whereas the MSX, I've got 1 out of a possible 3. In the magazine it says 2, but I reckon there might be 1 more actually. And the other one's the BBC, which I'm about halfway through out of the 4 games. But yeah, so yeah, I'm still enjoying it. It is frustrating at times, especially when you start looking at prices and when you start looking at the fact that if the person, it's usually just 2 people bidding on the same game, and if it wasn't for one of these people, myself or the other guy, the game would have gone for about 1/3 of what it ended up going for. So yeah, it's, the price inflation is sort of self-inflicted really. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't do it, someone else will bid anyway. I think some people just get put off of it when they see the prices going through the roof, but they will settle down at some point. They have to. Hit Squad games generally aren't rare. It's just at the minute it's a big demand for them. It's only those last few really. The last 5 I'm looking for, especially the bloody hardest ones to find. But yeah, and they will cost a lot of money unless I'm very lucky and find them in a bundle. But I know 4 of those games Dave needs as well. Dave Retro Games played badly. I know 2 of those games Glenn Edwards needs as well. So potentially it could be a bloody nightmare. And I think the best way to find them is just pure luck. But yeah, I've got a nice selection for you here. Some games highly nostalgic, some games absolute shit. The game I've been after for ages, I finally got it from a fellow YouTuber and a fellow ex-collector of Hit Squads. But yeah. But it is, like I said, 90% of these games are, you can get them dirt cheap, as long as you're patient. If you want to get something like bloody Trivial Pursuit for £87, then you're just mental. Because that's a game that shouldn't cost no more than about 10 quid. Trivial Pursuit is quite common. Pictionary, on the other hand, is a different kettle of fish, but yeah, Trivial Pursuit is quite common. Right, let's go over to the games anyway. The first one is a game I had back in the day. I remember it well, not a game I particularly liked, to be honest. It's an arcade conversion. This is arcade number 5, and it is Rampage. Again, I know a lot of people do like this game. Excuse me. Again, a very cheap one. Shouldn't cost you more than a couple of quid. Well, I had it back in the day. Can't remember how I got it. And I didn't like it. It was quite boring. There was very little atmosphere in the game. Just a few beeps and bops and beeper chip. A few clicks here and there. But yeah, the aim of the game is to smash the buildings up. Eat the talents of those said buildings. Smash helicopters. and beat each other up. I think there's 3 on screen. I think there's always 3. Doesn't matter if they're 2 computer control, 1 by player, and L2 by player, 1 by computer. But yeah, it's an okay game. I got bored of it really quick, but I know a lot of people out there absolutely love it. The arcade version, I can imagine, is fantastic, even though I've never ever played it. So that's Rampage. Now next up is movie number 5. A film that I loved as a kid, even today it's funny. Ali Sheedy, yeah, I quite fancied her as an adult than I did as a youngster. Weird, isn't it? How people's tastes change. Ali Sheedy now, I don't think she looks too bad even at the age of 50 odd. Yeah, that's Short Circuit. Steve Guttenberg, I think, is in that as well. Cracking film, everyone loves this film. It's one of those films that I watched again and again and again, but have very little recollection of the sequel. But yeah, one of the first Ocean film tie-ins, I think. An early one anyway. 86, I want to say, maybe even 85. It's one of those games that had 2 different games in it as well. One of the games was more like an arcade adventure, which you're going around an office complex looking for things to get other things to work. Can be a bit frustrating because you have to go to a certain terminal to change your program to do different things as well. So that's a bit of a bummer really. But apparently that's the better part of the game. Whereas the other part of the game is literally left to right scroller, just jumping over things and dodging things and shooting things, which is very boring. Well, this interpretation of it is very boring. But yeah, another cheap game. Again, this one shouldn't cost you more than 2 or 3 quid. And quite common, comes up quite frequently. But I love the film, the game itself. The first game is good, the second game is very bland. Got a cracking AUI chip tune in it though, which I completely missed from my Ocean Software music video that I did. Got a specky, yeah, really good tune. Can't believe I missed that. Right, next up is another arcade. Yep, it's the second one so far I've shown you. Arcade number 11. It's a shoot 'em up. A game that I don't remember. I don't think I had it, to be honest. I might have played it, but it's quite bland. And that is Slap Fight. Again, a game that can go for around 10 quid. Usually around a £5. Between £5 and £10 I would say. It's not overly difficult to find. It's just quite a desirable game, bearing in mind it's Slap Fight. But yeah, I thought it was quite poor on the Spectrum. By the fact the game is in monochrome, the bullets are very hard to, especially like when you get older and your eyes are more fucked. You can't really see what the hell's going on. So yeah, I died very quickly. And if you play by keyboard, usual combination with spacebar shooting, the spacebar is actually the power-up button. So you keep pushing the bullets, keep pushing space and the power-up goes up rather than doing what you want it to do, which is shoot the frigging bullets. So yeah, so don't play with spacebar, play with another button for shooting. Just a bit of a tip really, because that was bloody annoying. But yeah, that's Slap Fight. Again, very average game. These games I got mostly very early on. I reckon within the first 3 or 4 weeks of collecting I had most of what I've got now. Mostly because I went to online stores to pick them up. I'm still going to do that video as well with the variants and just some general experience share really, going through the Hit Squad collection and highlighting people that have helped me along the way. I still will definitely do that video. It's just getting around to it. So I'm still waiting for a few bits to come in the post to show you. Now the next game is very nostalgic to me in the fact that I played it on a different system. Now this particular game is an arcade conversion, quite a late-ish one at 34. Again, quite common. That's 2-bin. Yeah, you wouldn't pay more than a £5 for this, I don't think. But yeah, I first played this back on the ST on a Stampede. It's not a cover disc, because the magazine actually came on a disc. So it's quite a novel thing at the time. You used to buy this really thin magazine with a disc at the front, put the disc in and read all the reviews and that on the disc. And every month it came out, it had a full price game. So this was one of them. 2-bin. License to Kill was the other one. Spy Who Loved Me I think was another one. So there's some decent games in it. But yeah, I love it. It's one of those games you just scroll down the screen on your little tube, I suppose. Oh, it's rubber dinghy or whatever the hell it is. Rubber ring. I don't know. Going down the screen, avoiding obstacles, picking up obstacles like, I think you pick up crates of beer and you throw the beer at anything you can throw the beer at. Crocodiles will chase you down. Generally you get stuck in the scenery, which is a pain in the arse. But it's almost like a giant slalom. You have to go through your slaloms to get points. Or your flags, or whatever the hell they're called. But yeah, a good game. I like it. It's got a really catchy tune, really catchy music in it. But yeah, again, it shouldn't cost a lot of money. It doesn't come up that often, but it's not a rare game by any means. Now next up is more of a tricky title to find. Again, not overly expensive, can go up to 10 quid, maybe slightly over on a bad day. And that is, again, arcade. Not even call this a friggin' arcade game. Number 43. That's Navy Moves. Again, it's one of the more, kind of one of the mid-tier games really. It can be a sod to find, but generally when it comes up, no one really wants it because it's absolutely diabolical. But yeah, I don't have any memory at all of this game, to be honest. I remember Army Moves really well, but Navy Moves, I mean, I played it, I can't get very far in it at all because the bloody, not so much the sprite detection, it's just bloody hard. You've got to jump over like mines that are planted in the sea in your rubber dinghy. Got a few rubber dinghies in this bloody stack at the minute. Yeah, but every time you touch the mine, obviously it blows up, so it gets really frustrating really quick. The graphics seem okay, but I didn't like it. It's done by Dynamic originally, who brought out Army Moves and quite a lot of other games like Game Over 2 and stuff like that from Marine Corps. So yeah, quite prolific Spanish firm, but yeah, personally, I think if you persevere it might get better, but nah, it's bloody frustrating. Right, next up is a game that doesn't materialise that often on the Spectrum. I see it more on the Amstrad, I see it more on the Commodore 64. One of my favourite films of all time. Well, it's a brilliant film, isn't it? That's Terminator 2, Judgement Day. Now this one I picked up again early doors. This is movie 27. Bear in mind there's not many movie games. I picked it up, yeah, near the beginning. It was about 20 quid I paid for it, which at the time seemed a little bit expensive, but nowadays it's probably maybe the going rate, maybe a bit on the cheaper side. Don't see it very often on the Spectrum. Again, I've seen this more on the Amstrad and the C64. Crap game though, oh my god. There's 5 or 6, maybe 7 sub-levels. 3 of them you're fighting the Terminator, and it's just exactly the same, just a different background. 2 of them are driving, which are absolutely hideously hard, bloody impossible. And there's a couple of like puzzly bits, one where you've got to repair the Terminator's tendons, and one I think you've got to repair his eye. It's a little bit like games like Loops? Pipe Mania, that sort of thing. It's got that kind of style to it, but it's a really shit game. Spectrum 128K as well, may have hindered its sales, but I suppose back in 92, 93 a lot of people would have had a 128K Spectrum rather than 48K jobbies. But yeah, a lot of these games on the hit squad label, especially the really hard ones to find, are games that got released in 1993, so you can imagine why they're so hard to find. But yeah, nice to have it in the collection because it is a git to find, but yeah, it's a really bad game. Right, next up is one of those puzzle games. So thanks to Sega Zombie, Scott, I picked up 3 games for my hit squad collection because obviously he's selling up and focusing on different things. So yeah, I finally picked up Pictionary, 3rd time lucky. So it came up earlier in the year. Dave Retro Games Played Badly got hold of me and said there's a copy of Pictionary. I think I already saw it, but I kind of scoffed at the £50 asking fee, which nowadays is probably cheap. And then it came up in the Facebook group Hit Squad Collective. I think someone listed it for 30, and I missed that as well. I completely missed it. And then finally I got it as part of a bundle of games I bought from Scott. One of them I'll show you now, 2 others I'll leave for later videos. For an undisclosed fee, but yeah, I finally got hold of it. Never played it, never going to play it. I've never even played the board game, I don't think. But again, lovely to have it. Finally got hold of it. It is one of those sort of unnumbered categories. There's only 2 board games, Trivial Pursuit and this, and the 3 Fun School titles. So yeah, so I'm really pleased to have it finally in the collection. But again, it comes up quite regularly on the Commodore 64. You just don't see it on the Amstrad very often. And the Specky I've seen 3 times this year. So again, not an overly rare title, but a tricky little sod to get hold of. Right, the next 4 games though, highly nostalgic. Same guy features in 2 of them. All bloody hard. Actually, no, they're not all hard. I say that, I've completed 3 of them this year. I'll tell another lie. I completed one of them years ago. But yeah, the first one I'm going to show you is a game I completed this year. I cannot find the video footage for it. So that means I've got to try and complete it again. That's Rambo, First Blood, Part 2. The first film tie-in I ever played from Motion Software, back at my aunt's place. This is the very first movie game as well. As you notice, there's a bit of difference there on the old spine. You've got no Spectrum written on the yellow bit there. The writing's all in red, as opposed to having a nice border. So yeah, it's kind of, you can tell it's a really early title, like, because they haven't really decided what they're going to put on the spine yet. But yeah, I love this game. I mean, years ago I used to be able to get to a helicopter, and then you get the enemy helicopter, the gunship, trying to kill you. And apparently there was a bug in the game. I didn't know that then. So every time I shot the helicopter, I couldn't work out why I died. So yeah, and apparently some years later I read in a magazine or somewhere that if you shoot the helicopter, there's a bug in it which freezes the game, or breaks the game, or does something. So that was really annoying. Because when you play the game now, just avoid the helicopter, go and land, pick the POWs up and take them back to the top of the map, which I'd done. And I was absolutely chuffed to bits to finally complete Rambo 2. Shame I lost the footage for it, so I'll have to go and play it again now. But it's one of those games that it's an average game. The reality is it's probably a crap game really, but my nostalgia for this game is massive. It's one of the first games I really got addicted to on the Spectrum. Absolutely loved it. But yeah, I mean, I think the better versions are on the Commodore 64. But yeah, I like it because it's very nostalgic. Not a very long game. Once you kind of master it a bit, know exactly where you're going, it might only take you 5 to 10 minutes to complete it. But yeah, a very cheap game, comes up quite frequently because it is one of those games that got released back in 1988 on a Hit Squad label. So yeah, Spectrums were in abundance back then, weren't they? And following that, the same guy, he appears in another Hit Squad game and another film. This is movie number 2. That is Stallone, Cobra. Yeah, love this film again. I mean, some people don't like it. I thought it was well cheesy. It's good because it's cheesy. You know what I mean? It's almost as bad as Rambo 3 in it, when it's got his full-on perm. Yeah, he's walking around with his shades on and his matchstick hanging out his mouth. But yeah, cracking game, a flipping brutally hard game. But yeah, I can get to level 2, proudly say that, because it's rock hard. Whilst shooting for this particular video, I nearly got off level 2. But it's one of those games you think you've got to keep, like a girl, you pick the girl, not pick her up, but she follows you around, and I think if she follows you around long enough, the timer starts to tick down and it ends the level. You pick up the hamburgers, and obviously there's weapons in there, like laser-sighted guns, and some other stuff. I think there's like 2 or 3 weapons in the game. It's like a gun, laser-sighted gun, and something else. Oh, invincibility. But yeah, if you hold the girl with you long enough, you complete the game. But I'm not sure if you have to pick up all 4 hamburgers, or you just have to keep the girl near you for long enough to complete the level. Unless the level's timed. Yeah, never read the instructions, I got a flipping clue, but I can get to level 2, which is fantastic. For me anyway. But yeah, Cobra, another cheap and cheerful game to pick up. In fact, I think I need to pick up another one, because I've got a bit of sun fade in on there. I think you can probably see that in the scan actually. Again, one that comes up quite frequently. Right, the next 2 are legendary games. The next one is the second best beat 'em up on the Spectrum. Yeah, second best beat 'em up on the Spectrum, and that is Renegade. Best artwork. But yeah, second best. I mean, this game is a perfect pick up and play game. It really is. You just have a little blast on it. It probably takes 10-15 minutes before you die. I mean, if you play it just on one run, you can probably complete the game in about 5 minutes, but obviously it loops and loops and loops and gets a little bit harder each time. So rather than knocking someone down twice and they die, you got to knock them down 3 times, 4 times. Just takes a little bit longer. But it's a cracking game, wicked atmosphere, one of the best fighting games ever to grace the ZX Spectrum. I remember getting it. I think I got it copied off a friend of mine around about 87. I remember having my 48K, then upgraded to the 128K, and voila, extra music, extra level as well. So it just made the game that bit better. But yeah, a brilliant game. I love the fact you couldn't, even on the 48K Spectrum, you couldn't throw the baddie over your shoulder. That was another 128K benefit. But yeah, it almost made the game twice as good, having the music and having the ability to throw someone into someone else and all the rest of it. It was brilliant. But again, a common game, comes up quite a bit as you would imagine. Shouldn't cost you more than about a £5, though. Yeah, cracking game. Artwork is superb. Now, last but not least, is a game again I picked up from the same guy I got Terminator 2 from. Actually, right at the beginning of the collection. Again, another £20 game. Now, £20 at the time felt a little bit, again, strange, isn't it? It felt a little bit steep. But yeah, that game is sliced by Secret Agent. But yeah, nowadays it can go for that and a little bit more. Again, not a rare one. It comes up quite a lot. This is Arcade 48. So quite a late arcade game, but yeah, it does come up quite a bit. So it was very successful. It's easier to get a copy on the Hit Squad label than it is to get a full price Ocean release. But yeah, brilliant game. I used to love it in the arcade. It used to be in a local chip shop. I used to love the graphics, the whole feel of the game being a James Bond kind of rip-off, really. It just looked, sounded fantastic. I used to love getting to the motorbike level. It looked brilliant. But yeah, it's a good game. It's a good conversion on a Specky, and another game I beat this year. I actually got through it in 1 credit. The Specky version actually ain't bad at all. It was all in monochrome as you'd expect on the system, but yeah, I love it. Music by Tim Folin, cracking tune. Same guy who brought us the music for Ghouls and Ghosts. And Gauntlet 3 I think he also did, and Leadstorm. But yeah, really pleased to have that. It was a very early game I picked up. Again, Amstrad version I've seen quite a few times, and I've seen it quite a few times on the Commodore 64, so it's not a difficult one to find. But sometimes it can cost you 2 or 3 times as much, depending on when you're actually looking for the game. So yeah, sometimes it can be a bitch to find. So there you go. There's 11 titles. Now the last 3 episodes will all contain 10 titles each now, as we bring in the good ship SS Hit Squad back home. So yeah, I can't imagine that the last 5 I'm going to pick up very quickly. I've got to be honest. But to be fair, 1 game in 6 months and then sort of another 5 or 6 on top of that. Within 2 months really for the second half of the year. So anything's possible really. But yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for subscribing. And I'll see you again real soon. Take care. And bye for now.